The sporting world's premier website, JimFeist.net, presents America's longest-running pregame show, direct from Las Vegas, ProLine, featuring Jim Feist, who is making the next 10 days of personal service selections available completely free of charge, starting with today's 5-star blowout. Dave COKIN, who has a 3-game offer available today that is absolutely guaranteed to sweep, or the next 2 weeks are on the house. Scott Spreitzer, who nailed his mismatch of the year with Auburn last weekend and is releasing his one and only college knockout of the year today. Big Al McMorty, the 34-time handicapping champion who won with Oklahoma last Saturday and is coming back with his Big Play Club Game of the Year. And Roz Borbe, who is releasing 7 days of completely free winners.
Good morning and welcome to week 3 of ProLine. I'm Pat Williams, I'm your host, and we're going to talk about more upsets in football. And let's start with USC losing to Washington, the Bengals beating Green Bay in Green Bay. But Scott, can we really call Florida State beating BYU an upset?
Not in my area because, you know, shameless plug here, but I had Florida State over BYU. I enjoyed it from the opening kickoff till the final gun. But it made me think about maybe the Mountain West ought to be careful what they really ask for, because I think the way things are set up right now with the mythical national championship that's played at the end of the season, they've actually got a small chance, but a better chance than if there was a playoff system, because they saw a team, it was a perfect storm situation. They saw a team fired up to play from a major conference that brings serious athletes to the game each week. And what BYU showed to the rest of the Mountain West, because there's only 3 quality teams week in, week out, they can play that B game 4 or 5 times a year and still manage to get by and win. If they've got to play that top-notch, tough schedule week in, week out, teams like BYU, Utah, and TCU are not going to be in the discussion if there's a playoff situation at the end of the year.
Not right now, they're not. Because it's tougher for the schools that are outside the BCS leagues to compete for players. They're under a completely different set of guidelines. Everybody in the FBS should be under the same rules. This is absolutely ridiculous to me that you've got 120 schools in the FBS and 67 of them play under one set of rules and the other 53 play under another set of rules. That doesn't make any sense. To me, it should be like the NCAA basketball tournament. If you're in a Division I conference, you get an automatic berth. After that, there's at-large selections, and we'll see what happens when it all shakes out. But everybody plays under the same set of rules. They don't do it in football.
And you're exactly right, but this is, a different system. This is when we try to match up the number 1 versus the number 2 with the BCS championship game. If you had a playoff system, then everyone could, do that. But I kind of like the system the way it is now. You get the 2 best teams at the end of the year play. It's been working the past, 5 or 6 years, and I've got no reason to change the system. Jim?
I totally disagree with you, Al, actually. Everything out there, there's nothing really fair. I can't really believe that anybody is saying now, after 40 or 50 years of this nonsense, that this is a fair system. It's terrible. These teams are basically segregated, like Dave's pointed out, where they can't get the players. So if you can't get the players, you can't compete with the other guys that are getting the players. And it's very monetary, too. Last year Utah was undefeated. They don't get into the championship game. Yeah, they play a BCS game, but they don't get into the championship, but they're undefeated. If BYU went undefeated, I'm sure the BCS was very happy that they lost this week, because it takes one of the teams out of the running. You could have had Boise State against BYU or University of Cincinnati against BYU, and they would have hated that. But it was possible. So it's a stacked deck. They know, and Dave pointed out, NCAA basketball is the perfect system. It's the way it's supposed to be. And now some people will say that there's certain teams that get buys to the second round, and of course that is a stacked deck also. So there's nothing fair about any of this, but it is the way it is, and we have to accept it. We've all been yelling about it for 40, 50 years. I've been around that long, and nothing ever changes because it's all about money. Believe me, everything out there is about money.
Thanks, guys. We'll be right back with Illinois taking on the Ohio State Buckeyes, so stay tuned.
Summer is officially over, and this week I'm offering my fall football special. 10 straight days of personal service winners, absolutely free. Make the call right now to 1-888 260-8339 for the first of my 5-star blowouts, free on a recorded message. Then stay on the line for details on my 10-day free offer, including a dominating Sunday matchup I've had circled since the season began. That's 1-888-260-8339 or go to jimfeist.net.
Last week, I kicked the book sideways, winning my Power Mismatch Game of the Year and a huge KO winner with Michigan State. Now it's my one and only college football knockout of the year. Hey, I'm 7-1, 88% with my last 8, and this one is yours for a flat $20. You'll also get my Morning Massacre, now 75% winner's lifetime, and it all starts with a toll-free call for my 26-0, 100% Conference Shocker of the Month, free on a recorded message. Call 1-888-424-4667 or go to jimfeist.net.
Hi, welcome back to ProLine. Up next, Illinois visiting the Ohio State University. But up next, Big Al McMorty, the 34-time handicapping champion, won his non-conference game of the year last week with Oklahoma. And Big Al, today you have 2 more big games.
Thanks, Pat. You know, it's always better to talk after winners than after losers. What a terrific last couple of weeks it's been for me. 32-12 my last 44 in my clubs, including, as Pat mentioned, my non-conference game of the year on the Oklahoma Sooners. Had winning offers the last 2 weeks. We're going to do it again this week. I'm going 2-0, and it all starts with a call to my toll-free recorded message line. You get a winner out of a 26-0 ATS system. The 27th winner in a row is absolutely free. Make the call right now, 877-92 Big Al. But that's not all. I'm also featuring my Big Play Club College Football Game of the Year. That's right, the big one. My Big Play Club College Football Game of the Year. Call right now, toll free, 877-92 Big Al. That's 877-92 Big Al. I'm going 2-0. And now we'll talk about your Buckeyes, Pat.
That's right. My Buckeyes this week host Illinois in the Big Ten opener. And if you like big running quarterbacks, this is the game for you. And Dave, Jim, I'm trying not to lose the big game trestle again.
Still a little bit steamed up over that loss, huh? Well, Ohio State plus the points was good that day.
Yes, it was.
And Ohio State was impressive last week. It was a nice bounce back by the Buckeyes. I know it was only Toledo they played, neutral site in Cleveland. But still, coming out of that game, thought, you know, boy, what's their focus going to be like? And they went out and handled the team without any problem. Illinois is a weird football team. A lot of talent. When they're expected to do well, totally unreliable. But now they're in a situation where not a lot is expected of them, and this is where Illinois usually stands up and plays their best type of game. Ron Zook, not my favorite type of coach. He's very erratic, but I have a feeling he'll get the Illini playing at their best in this game. Illinois plus the points for me.
Who was it that said the mediocre were always at their best? That's what I think of when I think of Ron Zook. You know, there's not too many guys who could get the least out of their talent. but anyway, you know, I like when you introduced it and said, well, first of all, Ohio boy, what is the hardest nut to crack?
The poisonous Buckeye nut.
There you go. And also, I like the way he introduced the Ohio State. It reminded me of a few years ago when Dennis Miller was doing Monday Night Football, and the Buckeyes were off a weekend loss, and they were going down the line, and they were introducing the players, and the player said, you know, so-and-so from the Ohio State University. Dennis Miller responded by saying, yes, the Ohio State University that got their butts kicked on Saturday. But anyway, sorry about that, Pat. And I'm an Ohio State fan, so there you go. This particular football game, first of all, I think Dave hit the first key on the head when he said, not much is expected now, so watch out for Illinois. They are not intimidated in going to the horseshoe. The visitors won 8 of the last 9 games between these two teams. Last year when they lost to Ohio State in Champaign, they actually outgained the Buckeyes by over 100 yards. They are 6-0 against the spread the last 6 times as a conference dog. I got to go with Juice Williams. He's had 2 weeks of rest, missed 1 game because of an injury and a bye week. I'm going to take the Illini plus the points.
Scott, as usual, said everything I was going to say because it becomes like Scott half-hour show. The poisonous Buckeye nut? I didn't realize it was poisonous.
Don't eat them.
No, now I won't. I mean, I just bought a whole bunch of them at home, but I'm going to leave them alone now. You said it. Ron Zook, last 3 years, 6-0 against the spread as a Big Ten road dog. Coming off a bye week, I'm going to kind of throw out that Toledo victory for Ohio State against Toledo. I was kind of impressed with the fact that he shut him down because Toledo can score some points. But right here, I actually like Illinois, and maybe they could win this game straight up because we'll go back to what Al said a couple of weeks or last week about the double-digit dogs winning straight up. We had a couple of them last week. maybe this week too.
Yeah, Jim, you know, it looks like we're going to have a clean sweep here. I'm going to take Illinois as well, and both Jim and Scott touched on the fact that they've had last week off. And early in the season, rest is a big deal for me. And not just rest, but revenge. And when you get a rested, revenging team, that these teams in the first 3 games of the season are 83 and 57 against the spread if they're playing an unrested team. I tell you, it's all Illinois, all 4 of us. I'll take the points as well.
Thanks, guys. The panel will be right back with another college matchup as Texas Tech travels to Houston. Don't go away.
I'm Big Al McMorty, and my ProLine offer won big again last week, going 2-1, including my non-conference game of the year on Oklahoma. My clubs are on absolute fire. 32-11 the last 43, and today I'm featuring the big one. It's my Big Play Club college football game of the year. But that's not all. I also have a play out of a 26-0 system, and it all starts with a call to my free recorded message line. And it's guaranteed to win, or the rest of the season is free on me. Call 877-92-BIG-AL. That's 877-92-BIG-AL, or go to jimfeist.net.
Hi, I'm Dave COKIN, and I've got my first guaranteed sweep of the season going today. Start things off with a free winner on North Carolina, Georgia Tech on tape right now at 1-888-567-7660. Then get my guaranteed sweep for just $25. All 3 plays must win, or the next 2 weeks are free. Call 1-888-567-7660 right now, or visit jimfeist.net.
Hi, I'm Roz Warbit. Last week I gave away 7 free days, including my Upset of the Year winner. Today I'm doing it one last time. Call 1-888-769-9467 for today's college underdog of the month, free on a recorded message. Then stay on the line for a password good for 7 days of personal service, including my first game of the year in Sunday's Pros. 7 days of winners and 1 game of the year. It's all free at 1-888-769-9467. That's 1-888-ROZ-WINS, or go to jimfeist.net.
Welcome back to ProLine, and up next, Texas Tech versus Houston. But first, we turn to Smokin' Dave COKIN. He missed with his ProLine special last Saturday, but he won his blowout of the week and managed another winning week on his top personal service sides. Dave, tell us about your offering today.
I did miss with the ProLine special last week. First time that's happened this year, obviously, and didn't happen much last year either, because my ProLine specials have been absolutely incredible. Going to get right back on the beam today, and it really wasn't a bad weekend overall, because I did well with my top personal service sides, especially on Sunday. So I'm geared up, ready to go today. Going to start things off with an ACC matchup. It's free on tape right now. This is North Carolina visiting Georgia Tech. Should be a corker of a game. I've got the winner on tape, free. 1-888-567-7660. The offer this week, my first guaranteed offer of the season. I'm going a perfect 3-0 over the next 2 weeks of my personal service. I'm going to be completely free of charge. And look at the 3 games I'm using for this guaranteed 3-0 sweep. Arizona State, Georgia, Notre Dame, Purdue, Iowa, Penn State. 3 of the best games on the board. Make sure and find out who's going to get the job done in these games. 1-888-567-7660 is the number to call. And again, you get North Carolina and Georgia Tech free on tape right now. And we got a good game here. I'm excited about this matchup. Houston looking good so far, and Texas Tech, we know they can fire the ball.
Dave, you are so right, and I think this is going to be a high-scoring affair. Houston throwing up 50 points a game, but Al, more importantly, Tyler Potts took a shot last week I haven't seen in college football in years.
Actually, I think what's most important is the fact that they are scoring 50 points a game. You know, college football handicapping for me is all about momentum, and the Houston Cougars have a ton of offensive momentum. 2 weeks ago in their last game, they go into Stillwater and beat Oklahoma State 45-35. In their first game of this season, they beat Northwestern State, and they scored 55 in that ball game. And if you go back to 1980, over the past 29 years, teams playing at home or on a neutral site are 147 and 87 against the spread if they scored at least 100 points in the previous 2 games, and their opponent did not. I'm going to take the Houston Cougars, and Jim, I tell you, they could run the table if they get this game.
Oh boy, that would another BCS problem coming down the road. You know, one of the interesting things I found about this, you know, the head coach for Houston comes out of Oklahoma. The offensive coordinator comes out of Texas Tech. He's created a mirror image of the Texas Tech offense right here, and that's why they're just wide open. I don't even know if they have a playbook. I know Texas Tech doesn't, but 100 points, I like that stat. 2 good quarterbacks, they're going to toss it all over the field. I like the over in this game an awful lot.
Mike Leach is a guy I could play for. You see him last week in the game. He's got a cocktail napkin or something, and he's got like notes written on it. They were commenting on it on the game. Outstanding stuff. You guys, you've been talking about all this offense, and for the right reasons, and I think there's a great quarterback battle, obviously. But the difference in this game is going to be one particular defense. Texas Tech, guys, shocker here, they are playing some great defense right now. They held Texas to 340 yards at 4.5 yards per play. Look what they've done this season. They've allowed about 285 total yards per game at less than 4 yards per play. They've given up 89 rushing yards per game at under 3 yards per pop. I mean, it's been incredible. Defensively in the secondary, they've allowed just 2 touchdowns in 3 games. How about 3 picks, 9 interceptions? I really believe that the difference of this game this week is going to be Texas Tech's defense.
I think the difference in this game is going to be nerves. Nerves. Great situation for Houston as they beat Oklahoma State, which got a little bit overrated. I don't like the bye week at all for the Cougars here. I think that that's going to give them more time to get a little bit tight, because this is the biggest game in school history right now as far as college football is concerned. They could run the table if they win this game. They're in a soft conference without much competition. This is a monster game for Houston. They've never been in this situation before. I think Texas Tech, more experienced in this scenario, goes in and wins the game. 9 free plays every week on tape from the ProLine guys. 1 each day, Monday through Friday. 2 today, 2 on Sunday. 1-888-294-1970. Mark down that number. Keep it handy. It's the ProLine free pick phone, and it's a number you need to call every day.
Thanks, guys. Up next, we turn to tomorrow's pro games as the New York Jets host the Tennessee Titans, so stay right where you are.
Hi, I'm Dave Kokin, and I've got my first guaranteed sweep of the season going today. Start things off with a free winner on North Carolina, Georgia Tech, on tape right now at 1-888-567-7660. Then get my guaranteed sweep for just $25. All 3 plays must win, or the next 2 weeks are free. Call 1-888-567-7660 right now, or visit jimfeist.net.
Summer is officially over, and this week I'm offering my fall football special. 10 straight days of personal service winners, absolutely free. Make the call right now to 1-888-260-8339 for the first of my 5-star blowouts, free on a recorded message. Then stay on the line for details on my 10-day free offer, including a dominating Sunday matchup I've had circled since the season began. That's 1-888-260-8339, or go to jimfeist.net.
I'm Big Al McMorty, and my ProLine offer won big again last week, going 2-1, including my non-conference game of the year on Oklahoma. My clubs are on absolute fire. 32-11 the last 43, and today I'm featuring the big one. It's my Big Play Club college football game of the year. But that's not all. I also have a play out of a 26-0 system, and it all starts with a call to my free recorded message line. And it's guaranteed to win, or the rest of the season is free on me. Call 877-92-BIG-AL. That's 877-92-BIG-AL, or go to jimfeist.net.
Welcome back to ProLine. Up next, the Jets versus the Titans. But first, we turn to Smash Mouth handicapper Scott Spreitzer. Last week, Scott began his card by giving away a KO right here on ProLine, a winner with Michigan State. He called Florida State outright over BYU and won his power mismatch game of the year with Auburn. Scott?
It's your one and only college knockout game of the year.
Easy win with Auburn, by the way.
Absolutely.
You know, it was enjoyable watching the Florida State Seminoles thrash the BYU Cougars. It was a little more enjoyable watching the power mismatch game of the year come in the 4th quarter. It was even more enjoyable on Sunday to watch the Raiders and the Ravens and the Bengals all come in, top 3 high-end plays, all underdog winners outright, and we got it going again. In fact, we're going to start this week's card with a 26-0, 100% Conference Underdog Shocker of the Month. That's free right now on a recorded message, along with information that gets my one and only 2009 college football knockout game of the year. 7-1 the last 88 times. 7-1 the last 8 times. That's 88% winners with my KO games of the year over the past 8 years. This one has blowout written all over it. We're going to send the point spread to the canvas. Knockout game of the year. Make the toll-free call 1-888-424-4667 or go to jimfeist.net. Now we're going to talk some pro football. As you said, the Titans and the Jets. I can't wait to watch this one.
Guys, I got to tell you, this is a must-win game. 3rd week of the season, and the Titans are 0-2. And, Dave, they can't stop the pass.
You think they're missing Albert Hainsworth? Just a little bit. You lose a player of that magnitude off your defense, it's going to have a ripple effect. But you're right. This is a monster game for this football team. You can't start 0-3 and feel good about your chances of making the playoffs. And scheduling dynamics can be very important in pro football. Boy, the Jets are off a really big win against the Patriots, and they have to be feeling great about themselves. This could be the game where they step backward a little bit. I think Tennessee is going to bring everything they've got. Desperate attempt to win. I've got to give the Titans one look to get that job done here.
Yeah, you know, Tennessee, they were favored by 7 points against the Houston Texans in that ballgame. They lost straight up 34-31, and the knee-jerk reaction might be to go against Tennessee here, especially after the Jets handled New England. But I wouldn't do that if I were you. Take a look at what teams have done when losing straight up as a 7-point or greater favorite. If they're underdogs the next week and matched up against an opponent off a straight-up win, these teams are a nifty 64-36 against the spread. I got to take the points here with, you know, Tennessee. Jim, going to make it 3?
I love that. I love that stat, and this looks like a fabulous football game to watch. I know I'll be tuned into it. I want to tell you about JimFeist.net. There's 3 newsletters on there that I want to tell you about. Jim Barnes, who's been around this business, he taught a lot of us a lot about the business and handicapping. Great statistician, great guy. He's got a newsletter that's for sale at JimFeist.net, along with Top Play Sports, who won the Castaways about 10 years ago, and my Jim Feist Fast Facts newsletter as well. So if you go to JimFeist.net and click on that newsletter purchase, it's only $24.95, and you'll love those stats. I mean, they win each and every week, red hot.
When we come back, it's another pro matchup as the Chicago Bears take on the Seattle Seahawks. Stay right where you are.
Last week, I kicked the book sideways, winning my power mismatch game of the year and a huge KO winner with Michigan State. Now it's my one and only college football knockout of the year. I am 7-1, 88% with my last 8, and this one is yours for a flat $20. You'll also get my morning massacre, now 75% winners lifetime, and it all starts with a toll-free call for my 26-0, 100% conference shocker of the month, free on a recorded message. Call 1-888-424-4667 or go to JimFeist.net.
Hi, I'm Dave COKIN, and I've got my first guaranteed sweep of the season going today. Start things off with a free winner on North Carolina Georgia Tech on tape right now at 1-888-567-7660. Then get my guaranteed sweep for just $25. All 3 plays must win, or the next 2 weeks are free. Call 1-888-567-7660 right now, or visit JimFeist.net.
The ProLine Free Pick phone is available for winners daily. Just call toll-free to 1-888-294-1970 all week long. That's 1-888-294-1970.
Welcome back to ProLine, and up next, the Chicago Bears travel to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. But first, we turn to world champion handicapper Jim Feist. The Titans didn't get it done on Sunday, but Michigan State did the job on Saturday as another high-end personal service winner game came through. Jim, you start your fall football special today.
You're absolutely right. We do. The football season is heating up. Summer is over, but we're here. Right now, I'm making available not just a single day of free service, but not just a free week, but 10 days of free personal service on the house. That's right. Just call 1-888-260-8339 for today's 5-star blowout. That's free on a recorded message. Then stay on the line for details about the next 10 days of big winners, including a Sunday game that I've had circled all season, a 2-touchdown winner. Big games this weekend and big games for the next 10 days. That's 1-888-260-8339. Make the call right now.
Thanks, Jim. And Chicago goes on the road and travels to Seattle, and 49ers linebacker Patrick Willis single-handedly, Al, changed this game with 1 hit last week.
Yeah, no Matt Hasselbeck. Instead, we'll get Seneca Wallace. But it might not matter. I'll tell you why. If you go back 29 years, teams off a win over the defending Super Bowl champions are 6-25 ATS on the road their next game. I'm going to take the points with the home dog Seahawks. Jim, are you with me or against me?
I am with you on this. I did know about that. One of the few stats that you talk about that I actually knew about, because most of the time I just write them down because they're so interesting. I mean, Seattle is sitting there waiting. They came off what they call, one of their players called an F performance. They need to bring their A game this week, whether they have Hasselbeck or not, which I don't think they will. Chicago's coming off that big win, going on the road. They're not as strong on the road. Maybe we'll get Cutler to throw another 4 interceptions.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jim, the angles that Al comes up with are incredibly interesting, and they win. But what's great about them is when you're on them at the start, when they first begin. I was like 13 when that 29-year-old angle began. I remember sitting in class in junior high getting ready. Anyway, as far as this game is concerned, I think this is a great matchup for the Seahawks. If you look at Senate Koala starting this game, doesn't matter to me that Matt Hasselbeck is likely going to be out for this contest because their defensive front is the key to this contest. They're small still up front. They gave up 250 rushing yards at almost 9 yards per pop last week. It's not going to happen here because Chicago's offensive line is not paving room right now for Matt Forte. Chicago's 1-5 the last 6 on the road. I'm taking the Seahawks.
After a quick break, we'll be back with the plays of the week from the entire ProLine panel. Don't go away. Hi, I'm Roz Farber. Last week I gave away 7 free days, including my Upset of the Year winner. Today I'm doing it one last time. Call 1-888-769-9467 for today's College Underdog of the Month free on a recorded message. Then stay on the line for a password good for 7 days of personal service, including my first game of the year in Sunday's Pros. 7 days of winners and 1 game of the year. It's all free at 1-888-769-9467. That's 1-888-ROZ-WINS or go to jimfeist.net.
Last week, I kicked the book sideways, winning my Power Mismatch Game of the Year and a huge KO winner with Michigan State. Now it's my one and only college football knockout of the year. Hey, I'm 7-1, 88% with my last 8, and this one is yours for a flat $20. You'll also get my Morning Massacre, now 75% winner's lifetime, and it all starts with a toll-free call for my 26-0, 100% Conference Shocker of the Month, free on a recorded message. Call 1-888-424-4667 or go to jimfeist.net.
Summer is officially over, and this week I'm offering my fall football special. 10 straight days of personal service winners, absolutely free. Make the call right now to 1-888-260-8339 for the first of my 5-star blowouts, free on a recorded message. Then stay on the line for details on my 10-day free offer, including a dominating Sunday matchup I've had circled since the season began. That's 1-888-260-8339 or go to jimfeist.net.
Welcome back. Let's go to our plays of the week. Big Al.
Mine's Mississippi State. Make the call right now. I'm featuring my Big Play Club College Football Game of the Year. I'm 32-12 my last 44, and this play is guaranteed to win, or the season is absolutely free. And it all starts with a call to my toll-free recorded message line for that 26-0 ATS winner, 877-92-BIG AL.
Thanks, Al. Let's go to the man under the hat, Smoking Dave Kokin.
A big game for me today on the games we talked about here. Texas Tech to beat Houston. I love big games, and I love my chances of going 3-0 today. In fact, I'm guaranteeing it on Arizona State, Georgia, Notre Dame, Purdue, and Iowa, Penn State. 3 huge games, guaranteed 3-0 for just $25. It all begins with a free winner on tape between North Carolina and Georgia Tech, 1-888-567-7660, or visit jimfeist.net.
Thanks, Dave. Smash Mouth.
I'm with Dave on Texas Tech. Let's go get him. Hey, right now on a recorded message, free of charge, 1-888-424-4667. Conference Shocker of the Month in college football with a 26-0 situation included, and information on my 2009 college football knockout game of the year, 7-1 my last 8. Don't miss out. 1-888-424-4667 or go to jimfeist.net.
Thanks, Scott. And your play of the week, Jim?
College, I like Houston and Texas Tech to go over the total, way over the total. Al talked about 100 points. You're going to see about 100 points in this game. And don't forget, my 5-star blowout is free on tape right now. 1-888-260-8339, plus 10 full days of personal service winners, including a monster 2 touchdown winners in tomorrow's pros. That's 1-888-260-8339 or go to jimfeist.net.
And that's our show for this week. I want to thank everyone for watching. From all of us here at ProLine, thank you. We'll see you next Saturday, 7:30 a.m. right here on USA.